What is up? I am Janko, and I am here today with a Division 2 video that I was going to spend a lot of time in this talking about specifics as far as gear sets, skill mods, gear mods, loot, crafting, recalibration, RNG. Oh my god, man, there's so... wait, also, I wanted to talk about NPC scaling and damage versus health of the enemies. Holy crap, man, there's really a lot of stuff to talk about. But if I were to do that, honestly, that video would be like 3 hours long, so I decided I'd break them up into 3 or 4 videos and start with this one that starts with one really long run-on sentence and has one suggestion of one change that I think this game could add that would make it superior to any other looter shooter on the market, and also make it way more fun for everybody, make it more competitive for everyone, make it easier to balance for the devs, and add more build diversity and relevance. All of that in one fell swoop. What is this miracle cure, you ask? Well, honestly, it's kind of simple. Embrace the MMO roles of healer, DPS, and tank, and implement an aggro grab or aggro dump mechanic. Period. And stop. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Also, by the way, if you guys are curious about where I am right now, I was having issues with my webcam and I couldn't get it working for this. So yeah, you guys just have my voice today. Yay. Anyway, I have gone on and on over my years of gaming, actually complaining about how boring the healer, tank, DPS system got in MMOs, and how much it really sucked if you're a DPS player. Like, I always tended to be a DPS player or a tank, but how it really sucked if you were a DPS player trying to get into a group a lot, because there's always too many DPS players trying to get into groups. Or, you know, how just fucking god-awful it was if you were a good tank, and then you get saddled with either bad DPS or healers that don't know what they're doing, or, you know, as always, the DPS that pulls your aggro away constantly because they have no idea how to manage their own DPS. But anyway, I don't want to get off on a rant. However, I do think that with the one simple addition, caveat time. I say simple because honestly, I have absolutely no idea what it takes to program a video, or a video game rather. I really have no idea what goes into it. So, yeah, it might not be simple. But anyway, with the one very simple addition of an aggrometer, combined with a mechanic for tank characters to be able to grab aggro and DPS and healer characters to be able to dump that aggro, you will have a system that with one change adds to build diversity in all content, including raids, all high-end content, solo content, group content, even PvP, as well as giving players reasons to try out different build types for those different roles. Seriously, think about it. Imagine the raid as it is right now. Like, we've got footage from our run last night, and this is starting off with Boomer, blah, blah, blah. Imagine this Boomer fight as it is right now, but with this mechanic added in. So you go in, you got 2 or 3 tank characters, you got a couple of healers, 3 or 4 DPS, and you go in and you're ready to go. The tank characters can grab aggro from Boomer, kite him around, trade it back and forth. If one starts taking too much damage, you know, they can negate his healing to try to keep that aggro if that's a reliable aggro mechanic. But also they would have the ability or a skill to be able to draw that aggro to them in case they lost it. Honestly, in the Division, this would, and I know the specializations took the place of the 3 abilities in the first game, but what if these aggro dumps or aggro grabs were what can replace those now, right? Where you get a middle to either dump aggro or grab aggro. You know, anyway, that's their job. DPS characters are supposed to take out ads and do damage to Boomer during the damage phase. The healer's job is literally just to make sure everybody stays alive. Like, that would be so freaking awesome if this raid worked like that. And god damn it, it should, and I fucking want it to. Anyway, The reason that that does not work in this current system, in this raid, is that the enemies are so damn bullet spongy that you need as much DPS on possible on everything in order to just burn them down and also try to get as much damage as you can on the boss, which then negates the role for healers. You know, currently, if you try to bring in one healer specified character into this raid, that could honestly be the difference between a wipe or almost worse, a really, really, really slow completion at best, because honestly, there's just not enough damage dealing characters to deal all of the damage and kill their ads and then burn down Boomer. And then that leads to characters needing to stay alive longer. And then with no burst healing, it just falls apart so effing quickly. The other reason that really doesn't work is that there's no reliable way to keep Boomer's aggro or to get rid of it if you don't want it. What this does is force everybody simply to build as much DPS as high as possible, along with stacking as much armor and health, because if you don't, you can't survive the ads, or you can't kill the ads, or even if a medic tosses a grenade, you get melted, or God forbid, a melee shot from Boomer if he happens to aggro on the wrong person because he did a little too much coke or speed before he busted his ass through that door like the Kool-Aid Man on Crank. Anyway, in the current raid, as it is right now without this mechanic, Boomer actually does seem to have a bit of an aggro mechanic. You shoot him in the chest, you can kind of get it back and forth. It's wonky, it's not reliable at all. But there's also one with Buddy and Lucy. The second encounter has it also. And we know this is in the game because you get that little red eye that shows that you have the attention of the boss or aggro from the boss. However, there's no way to dump this if somehow Boomer decides that you're going to be the next one that he wants to wail on with that giant fucking gun of his. Actually, real quick, why does he have that giant fucking gun if he never fires it? And instead, isn't he just always just running around swinging that thing around like John Holmes at a Playboy party? Like, shouldn't he have a sledgehammer or something else instead? Maybe a giant tree or a giant chainsaw would be badass. I don't think anything would be more fearsome or cool than him to be swinging around a giant... Oh, tree-sized chainsaw. There we go. Fuck yeah. There you go, devs. Devs, let's get Boomer a giant tree-sized chainsaw. Please. That would be awesome. I wish my cam was on so that you could see in my face how badly I want this. Anyway, where was I? Right. So you have no way to dump that aggro if he gets on you. And the method of shooting his chest to maintain that aggro, again, it just seems like kind of maybe sometimes it doesn't want to work. It does work. It does. Maybe it doesn't always work. But it does tell me that there's some kind of internal aggro meter that we can't see, but that the game does calculate. And this would be completely fixable by adding the aggro grab or aggro dump mechanic. Let's say I'm in the middle and I'm responsible for the alpha terminal as I was in what you guys just saw. That's the way our group was doing it last night, right? 4 in the middle on each terminal and then 2 rotating turrets and the other 2 trying to bounce aggro back and forth, blah, blah, blah. Works in theory. Cool. Up until every now and then when Boomer decides that he just wants to come in and fuck up one of us whose only job it is to kill his buddies and press a button on a laptop. We have no way to dump that aggro so that the tanks can then get it back, and there's no reliable way to distract him and force him to focus on them instead of us. So yeah, it sucks not being able to do that. And again, that chess piece supposed to work, doesn't work. I don't know. I still don't know how to reliably grab aggro from Boomer or Lucy. And other than shooting them in the fucking head, I don't know what makes the second encounter bosses change aggro at all, but evidently they do. But yeah, anyway, another way that this could help accessibility to the raid would be that people could then focus on one particular role. You know, I think we can be pretty honest and just face it. The DPS is generally easier to build and perform with, other than like, you know, rather than putting together a good healer build or a badass tank build or knowing even how to tank. While there are some elite players that know how to squeeze absolutely every little tiny last drop of DPS out of a build, but let's face it, most blind monkeys could probably put together a decent DPS build just by stacking a ton of red numbers. And if they have a healer to help them and an aggro dump to get them out of trouble if they do too much DPS or a tank fails in his job, or something like that. DPS could be a very, very pretty easy entry level role into a raid, especially if you add to the system matchmaking based on the role that you choose. It would be much easier for pickup groups to get together with other randoms that are at the very least properly constructed for the correct roles, and then we can all go skipping on down the yellow brick road of happy acid trip raid completion land. Yeah, no, I'm mostly kidding. We all know that's not going to happen, but I do know there's a ton of shitty builds and people that would be trolling with DPS builds that they put in the little tank selector for the raid because they want to be douchebags or just because they think that they're going to be that awesome super bad tank hybrid DPS build, blah, blah, blah. I know those troubles. I've experienced them in many games. They're never going to change, but this mechanic, as well as matchmaking, made specifically for this mechanic, could definitely be a far better start than where we're at right now. And I honestly think that this could fix a lot of problems in this game. So yeah, that's my one quick and easy fix. Again, it's probably not all that easy at all, as I have, again, no idea how difficult things like this are to program, because I don't know how to program a video game. For all I know, this whole thing could literally be more difficult than me going into my backyard and trying to craft a Harley Davidson, with the twigs and berries that I can find back there, which, on another side note, I wouldn't be able to find any twigs and berries because I've never put any of my personal skill points into foraging or survival, but that's just a geeky D&D joke. So yeah, we'll get back at it. Where was I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, that's the one change that I'd love to see in this game, more than any other. In fact, I'd honestly love it if most of the other looter shooters like Destiny, Borderlands, stuff like that, embrace this style of game more often for content like this. I think it would be really, Destiny kind of does it, but not really, sort of, kind of. You don't need it, but it definitely helps. Yeah, but I miss this mechanic so much, even though I used to hate it so much. So maybe I'm just looking at it through rose-colored glasses. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it's a good idea? Or, I don't know, am I snorting the same stuff that Boomer does before he comes swinging at us like a bull in a china shop? I don't know. What's the number one fix that you guys would like to see that could totally change the way the entire game is approached and played without revamping the entire game as it is right now? As I kind of said earlier, I'm going to have other videos this week focusing on specific changes that I'd like to see in regards to gear, loot, RNG, skills, enemy scaling, crafting, recalibration, etc., etc. Holy fuck. There's so much again. Anyway, those should be coming out every couple of days this week, depending on my schedule. Hopefully my camera will be fixed next time, so that you guys can see my lovely fading blue bearded face. Anyway, as always, agents, if you like this, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, why the hell not? No, I'm kidding, dude. Seriously, thank you guys very much for your time. I appreciate you guys being here. And if you want to join in these conversations, I am always down to discuss this or anything else when I am streaming live. You can find me over at on Twitch, twitch.tv/IamJanko. If I'm live, say hi. And if I'm not, touch the little follow button that fills in that little heart, and you can turn on notifications over there after that so that you never miss another stream. Also, links for that down below. Thank you guys very much for being here, and as always, please remember, I love you guys. You guys fucking rock, and until I see you next time, please keep on living the dream.